people taking to the street in Iran, and the regime is cracking down on the protests. So far, more than 450 arrests of protesters in the north part of the country. The protest started 10 nights ago after the suspicious death of Mahsa Amini. She was arrested by Iran's morality police for not covering all her hair with her hijab. Rioters have attacked several government buildings and damaged public property. The protests show no signs of calming down. So far, at least 41 people have died. That number is expected to rise if the protests do not appear to be letting up. Among those who have died in the violence are members of Iran's volunteer paramilitary group. According to Iranian state media, the latest paramilitary member to die died from injuries sustained during a fight with, quote, rioters and thugs. This is the group's fifth member to die. Meanwhile, Iran's president, Ebrahim Reyes, promised to, quote, deal decisively with the protests that have taken over the country. And Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, has health problems, and this has left many asking, who will succeed him? One possibility is his son. Mojtaba Khamenei has been working in Iran's government. He oversees Iran's international military, intelligence operations, and that paramilitary group that I just mentioned. In August, Mr. Khamenei was elevated to the rank of Ayatollah. This is a prestigious religious title. Now, that title is needed to become the supreme leader of Iran, but Mr. Khamenei's succession is not guaranteed. Why? Well, the supreme leader of Iran must be elected by a group of 88 Islamic scholars. Former acting director of national intelligence and former U.S. ambassador to Germany, Rick Grenell, joins me. Good evening, Ambassador. And let me start with
nice to be here.
The Iran. Nice to have you. The Iran deal. There's been the discussion with the U.S. and all the other countries in Iran, but now we have the protests for the last 10 nights on the streets. So what's going on?
Well, you certainly shouldn't be allowed to somehow bifurcate nuclear negotiations with a regime that is literally killing women. I've been tweeting out some of these young women's stories, and it's just heartbreaking. I think the death toll is up to 45 now, and as of today, Greta, they have changed their slogan. The protesters in Iran have changed their slogan, and the new slogan is, "We will not go home until we conclude this revolution." Now, that stands in stark contrast to what we're seeing at the State Department and from the Biden administration, who is literally trying to message that we can separate this nuclear negotiation that we're doing with the killer regime in Iran from the actual killing on the streets of women and gays and all sorts of human rights abuses. This should not be allowed to happen in a civilized society. I don't know why the NGO community in Washington, D.C. is allowing this Biden administration to do this. This is so outrageous. And I think that we're going to see the people of Iran begin to take control of their own destiny. And we, the international community, which is trying to stop Iran from building a nuclear weapon, should take a step back right now and allow this protest to continue and support these protests.
But where's this protest going? We had the one in 2009 that fizzled out. Then in 2019, there was a protest, and about 1,500 people died. And finally, there was enough of a crackdown by the government. So looking at this, if history repeats itself, I mean, we're only at around 41 or 45 dead. I forgot what you just said. But, you know, where is this headed?
Well, let's take a step back and realize that if you're in Iran right now, there's systematic human rights abuses. Women have to be covered. You know, Leslie Stahl is half covered. Her hair is coming out when she's interviewing Reza. But meanwhile, back in Iran, Reza is literally killing people for not having their head totally covered. And so this is just an outrage all the way around. I think where it's going is that the people of Iran are tired of just sitting back and not getting help. You mentioned the Green Revolution in 2009. That was during the Obama administration, and we really missed it as the United States government. We could have been helping keep the internet on, for instance. We could just take a step back. We have the technology. Silicon Valley has the technology to keep the internet on. But we have countries like Iran and China and others that systematically will shut down the internet so that people can't protest, they can't try to come together and communicate. And that's, I think, where the United States can be a real force, is just to guarantee that the people have internet access. Then it won't fizzle out. But it keeps fizzling out because the international community, Western governments, don't guarantee that there's somehow going to be internet freedom in these countries. I think that that can be changed pretty quickly, and maybe the private sector can do it outside of the U.S. government.
Well, I think Elon Musk is making some effort at trying to do something in internet service. I read something about that. But Ambassador Rick Grenell, thank you.
All the best.